Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with the October reading for Aries energy. As always, Aries, I've got a ton of intuitive messages to get through before we get into the cards, but I'm going to kind of go through that as quickly as I can for you. I know that time is money, my friends, my Aries. I understand that you are busy people. So I saw the planet Saturn. So sometimes I get, it's almost like seeing a photo in my mind's eye, and I saw the planet Saturn. I assume it was Saturn because it had the rings. So yeah, no more context than that. But shortly after, I was getting the song Beautiful Stranger by Madonna. You know, haven't we met? You're some kind of beautiful stranger. Now, Saturn rules Capricorn, so you might be meeting a Capricorn. They might be a beautiful stranger to you because you do have the Queen of Coins here, and that's Capricorn's card. Maybe you've got Cappy placements in your chart. I don't know. Then I saw a milk carton. So you know, like old-fashioned milk cartons, and they used to have like the pictures of people and things like that on them, and then like words. It's kind of like, so say you're buying like a strawberry milkshake, it'd say like strawberry milkshake with added calcium and things like that. So it was a milk bottle, but it said Old Town Road on it. So I don't know, maybe you buy your milk from Old Town Road, if that makes any sense to you. I don't understand the context. I heard I am the chic, or I am the, yeah, I am the chic, or I am the shake. I think it was chic. So it was almost like I am the fashion, I am the trend, I am the moment, I am the chic is the way that I read it. But it could be that somebody's meeting a shake. I don't know. Again, I've mentioned milk, and now I'm saying the word shake quite a lot, so there could be something about milkshakes. Maybe your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, or the girls, or the people. I don't know what your preference is, Aries. Um, and yeah, so I've got fashion question marks. I had this fashion feeling. There was something else as well. Sometimes the intuitive messages come in when I'm like half asleep. So it like there was something else that made me think fashion, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. This was a funny one. So I saw, maybe I've just been playing The Sims too much, but I saw, if you're playing The Sims 4, you get these little, they're called buffs, and they give you like information about your sim. But it came up like it was a message from the Grim Reaper in the game. And there were two messages. It says something, and then it said da 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 dot 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 run, and it was like the Grim Reaper was telling me to run, but it wasn't like I was running from the Grim Reaper. It was like, I don't know, it's like the Grim Reaper was the friend and he was saying run. So I don't really know what's going on for you, Aries, because they were some very strange messages. I don't know what to make of them, but I'm going to leave it there. You had, so I've been playing with the cards in between readings, and something that came out which may or may not be for you because you're on the next sign. It's like it might be for you, so I'm going to tell you, right? I had Venus and the oak tree, and what this was giving me was like this real kind of nurturing environment so that someone could, excuse me, grow quite strong. I don't know why. I've got a bit of a bug as always, so it could also indicate, because it's come on really, really suddenly, it could indicate problems with your throat chakra. There could be something that you're trying to say, or something that somebody's trying to say for you, or something that you feel like you're being prevented from saying. There is something about not listening here, so I'm going to come back to that in a bit. But yeah, Venus and the oak tree. The oak tree can symbolize sometimes an individual, like your body, what nurtures you, what you draw up from the roots, the environment that you grow in, and the branches, which indicate the future. It can also talk about things like family and DNA and community. If you think about all the acorns grow from the oak tree, all the squirrels live in the oak tree. So it has all these feelings of almost like Ten of Pentacles energy to me. But yeah, with it being Venus and the oak tree, it was almost like a very nurturing. Again, you've got the Queen of Coins here with this Capricorn, Saturn kind of energy. Very, very nurturing, very motherly. So this could definitely be something about, I'm just being very careful not to nudge this card because it's a bit graphic. And I've just painted my nails. Like, Aries, why do I always paint my nails before your readings? Why do I never learn? But yeah, there could definitely be something about mother's love, nurturing, you know, a good environment to grow in, or trying to create a good environment to grow in. So it could be that some of you are becoming a mother because these two cards came out together with these two babies on. But it could also be that, you know, if this is a work thing for you, this is kind of giving work. It could be that you're trying to create a very nurturing environment. You know, it's like the soil is rich in this workplace. You know, people can grow here, that kind of mentality. So then, funnily enough, the word soil came out. It was soil, Venus, oak tree, path, deer, and power. So yeah, this real, like the it's like the deer with the antlers. So the deer card can sometimes mean a vulnerable young woman, which again, maybe this is your own child we're talking about here. But it came out with like this power and the antlers and the kind of stag energy. Now this talks to me almost like being able to harness emperor energy, or you know, feminine energy, being able to step up into perhaps a very male dominated workspace, because you do have these suffragettes here. But yeah, the Venus oak tree, it just felt very, very, very motherly, very kind of very warm, very nurturing, very encouraging, but also kind of not being a mother and thinking that's all you are. It's like you're also a woman, you're also sexy, you know, you're also, your body has more purposes than just reproduction, you know, or, you know, enjoying the reproduction. This maybe something like that about it. Very kind of like Venus as the mother of Rome energy, if you know that kind of analogy. So I've got a little quote that I wrote down from this. It says, "The path to power is through strong and stable, warm, loving, and beautiful energy." So that could be something you want to keep in mind for October. You had some cards that said you are highly thought of with the bow. Older woman, you could be dealing with an older woman. Again, it could be a mother for somebody. Rainbow, the most difficult part of the situation is over. Rainbow has come back out for you in this reading today. And you've also got things like reef, sorrow over a loss. So if any of you are grieving, if any of you have lost anyone, it's the cards are indicating that in October you're going to feel like the worst part is over, the hardest part is over. Sometimes, especially because you've got stuff about clouds and November and patience here, sometimes I think that if you do suffer a loss, and it doesn't have to be a person, right? It could also be like a job, or you know, an opportunity that you missed, or you know, it can be so many different things. But if you are going through something where you are sad because you've lost someone or something, you know, sometimes it can make us feel like it's like our ground has been shook. Now you don't have the tower here, so I want to say, if you've been going through something like this, October is going to feel much more like stable ground. But yeah, you've got loads of beautiful clouds, you've got the sun, you've got rainbows, and you can't have rainbows without the sun and the rain, right? You know, and the rain can talk about grief and tears and you know, strong emotions and things like this. So like I say, I feel like the clouds will clear and the sun will come out again, and you're gonna, a lot of the time we can be dealing with things, you know, if you have lost someone and you're dealing with like funeral arrangements and you know, all the paperwork and that aspect of it, you know, it can be very, very challenging. You can sometimes think, I don't want to do any of this, I just want to kind of crawl into bed and feel what I need to feel. So yeah, I want to say the worst of it is you're getting through it by October, if that's the case for you. Do pay attention to your finances. Don't get too carried away with like all the things that you could buy. You don't have to buy everything. I've got this thing about tea spilled in April. So two cards came out that said tea spilled April. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, tea spilled in April. So I had a cup of tea and like I spilt the tea on the April card, so that you had tea spilled and April, and then I was kind of like debating, is this a message that I need to kind of communicate? And then I spilt the tea on the April card, so it was like confirmation for me that I did need to say that. There could also be something, again, because you've got the oak tree, which talks about, you know, what's nurturing you, you know, what are you drawing up from your roots kind of thing. It could also be talking about health, especially with the tea aspect. It could be talking about just kind of like, watch what you're drinking, you know, are you drinking too much? Just because you've also got this card here, oh gosh, with that skeleton behind it. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, and oh my goodness, you've got so much going on there. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a chat about those cards. You could be opting out of kind of, you know, food and drink choices that you, or habits that you know aren't good for you, and it's like, where that path leads. So maybe this is something as well, because the oak tree can be like DNA and ancestry and inherited behavior patterns. So for example, if your parents, your grandparents all drank too much and had liver problems, you know that if you drink too much, you're probably going to have liver problems. So it's like, where that path leads. So yeah, I feel like you're turning your back on kind of unhealthy choices, because it's like, who's handing that cup out to you? You know that that's temptation. And yeah, you're looking away from that. You're looking at kind of healthy choices. Chair filled in September. So there could be something about filling an empty chair. I feel like I had this in another reading. I don't know if it was on camera or off camera, but there was this thing about a chair being empty. And now I'm seeing chair filled. So if there was a job vacancy at your workplace, it's like you're finding the right person for that position, or maybe you are the right person for that position. But that should be happening in September for you, whatever that is. I also saw the bell card, which kind of indicates some kind of an announcement. So you could be getting an announcement that a chair has been filled. This could also be like a family thing, so say somebody's been single for a while and they've been looking for a partner. It's like the chair's been filled, they found the right person for them. Hangman, it's funny because the hangman's right there as well. Hangman, uncertainty, new angle. Seven of Pentacles, slow and steady, has a blueprint, oak tree growth, slow change of direction, like pushing a boulder, Taurus. So this was all intuitive messages around somebody who kind of didn't really know what direction to take. They were kind of in this moment of stillness where they didn't want to move because they weren't sure about the direction that they wanted to go in. It's funny, I was like, we know where that path leads, right? So then it had this kind of like, the ball starts rolling, but it's very, very slow and steady, like Seven of Pentacles. So it's kind of like a slow growth thing. It's like things will pick up speed, but start off kind of like very slow and steady. And then this thing about like changing a direction is going to feel like trying to shift a boulder. So again, it's almost like careful consideration before you choose the path, because you know that once you get on that path, it's going to be very hard to change direction once you get going. There was I kept on getting songs by a specific rapper called G-Eazy, and I don't have many of the songs on my playlist. Normally the ones that I do have are like collaborations with other artists like Halsey, but it was funny that I kept on getting these songs back to back. So it could be something about maybe some of you are rappers, or you're going to be meeting a rapper. Maybe this is The Beautiful Stranger, maybe somebody like works in the hip-hop industry. You could also just be making a rap playlist or something like this on Spotify, but there could definitely be something about kind of like hip hop culture or rap or something like that. G-Eazy, also, because I was getting a very specific name, it could be that somebody's name starts with G, or you call them G, and maybe they're very easygoing. I don't know. You've got some songs in a row as well that felt like they were coming through and telling me a bit of a story. So again, it may be for you, it may not be for you. Some of you could have been chasing some kind of dream. Maybe you do work in some kind of entertainment field, or maybe you are trying to become a celebrity or become an influencer or something like this. So you had songs Devil in Paradise by Cruel Youth, and then All Good Girls Go to Hell. So it was like both of these songs mention kind of like LA and California, which obviously Hollywood is there. So it could be specifically talking about those areas for you. Maybe this is somewhere you want to go. Maybe this is somewhere where you want to move to because you think it'll benefit your career. Maybe you have been living there. It's coming through because you've got the rainbow, right? It's like, yeah, people chase the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but they never find it. It's not really there. It's a myth, right? So I do feel like there could be something about that for you, where you've been chasing some kind of dream, especially because you've also got the unicorn twice, and you've got the snake. Right, so the unicorn, it talks about the impossible dream, right? Believing in the impossible. Rainbows can also talk about having hope. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing at all, but I think that chasing some kind of dream has led you down a bad path. and it could have put you in contact with kind of devilish people. So it could be that you've signed contracts that you wish you'd not signed, or you know, you had certain expectations of, because in Devil in Paradise, she talks about she was promised the penthouse, but she's on the bottom floor. So it could be talking about kind of like you were promised certain things by certain people and it didn't work out. So it doesn't have to be LA and Hollywood and California. It could just be that, you know, they are symbolic of kind of like the place where people go to follow their dreams, right? So it doesn't have to be that literal place for you. In All Good Girls Go to Hell, she does actually say, my Lucifer is lonely. And then the next song that came on was Fallen Angel by Tix, which is a guy singing it. So it was almost like the devil in this place, right? So it's kind of, you're trying to, it's coming through Aries, like you're trying to help someone, and maybe you are trying to help someone who's had some addictions, or, you know, you are trying to help someone who's kind of gone down a bad path. It's like they're seeing you as an angel, or vice versa. You can always flip the roles. If, you know, you're the person who's in a bit of devil energy right now, you know, you followed a dream, you got in with some bad people, and now you kind of feel very corrupted. And there's somebody for you, and again, it could be a mother figure or somebody who has that very maternal energy. It's kind of, they're coming in with that kind of Mother Mary energy that's been in my readings so much recently, where it's kind of like somebody who's almost too good to be true, or somebody who has unconditional love for this person. It's like, again, it could be, you know, a mother and their kid has kind of gone off the rails a little bit, and, you know, but the mum always loves them. It could be something like that. But yeah, with All Good Girls Go to Hell and Fallen Angel, it's almost like you're trying to help someone, like you're trying to go to this place to help them, or they're coming to you to try and help you. And it's almost like this person who's feeling a bit lost is saying, no, you're too good to me. You know, you're too good for me. You're like an angel. I'm like the devil. But the thing about the All Good Girls Go to Hell song is that it's kind of like, no, God wants the devil on her team. So it's like God sending her in to go and get this person, because it's like the heaven and hell are going to team up because there's something bigger coming. So there could be some kind of like big crisis on the horizon, and people who perhaps have fallen out are kind of making amends and getting back on the same team, because, you know, it's like bigger picture mentality. It's kind of those petty falling outs are going to kind of be put aside, because everybody needs to work together to get to the same goal, because you do have this Three of Pentacles energy coming through here. In that song as well, All Good Girls Go to Hell, she says, men are such fools, why are we saving them? Poisoning themselves. So again, I'm getting that feeling of like somebody who's just can't kick an alcohol addiction or something, or some kind of substance abuse. Yeah, when the waters rise, she'll want the devil on her team. You also got Jokes on You by Charlotte Lawrence, which I was really pleased about, because if Aries, you're the person who's really, really trying to help somebody, and they are kind of, you know, playing you for the fool kind of thing. The song Jokes on You is like, you know, almost like you can fool me once, but you can't fool me twice. So, you know, you do have boundaries in place. And again, you've got the boundaries card here. Look at these two gorgeous cards together. I've only just seen this now. Really, really gorgeous energy. It's like you're you know, energetically protected. You're energetically protecting yourself with boundaries and peace. It's kind of like you're protecting your peace, right? You've got your boundaries up, you're protecting your peace. So it could be that you're talking to someone and saying, these are my conditions, you know, you can ring me anytime you want, except for between the hours of, I don't know, 11 and 6, you know, 11 at night, 6 in the morning. Other than that, I'll always answer. You could be saying to somebody, you know, you're welcome to come round whenever you need to, but you have to ring at least an hour before you turn up. I'm not having you just coming knocking on my door and expecting to come right in. You know, it's like you've got to give me warning. So it's just like, you know, if you're dealing with somebody who's perhaps in a very turbulent energy, you know, really, really making those boundaries clear, and maybe even writing them out, having a list, agreeing upon it, and being like, look, I'm here for you, but, you know, these are rule breakers for me. You know, if you turn up and knock on and you've not rang beforehand, I'm going to turn you away and say no. I'm going to say come back in an hour. It could be something like that. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? But, you know, the more clear you are in communicating your boundaries, the more that person's going to respect them. Again, really keep on picking up on Capricorn energy for you, like a source Saturn. You've got Queen of Coins here, so check out your birth chart and check out your placements. I'm specifically picking up on Mars in Capricorn energy, and it's funny because I ended up talking to a friend in work who's Mars in Capricorn, and I was kind of encouraging them to go into like an apprenticeship or training and things like this, and they were like, oh, but I need the money, I've got to get a job because I need the money. And I was like, that's your Mars in Capricorn placement talking. So the energy of this was sort of like short-term and long-term solutions. So the short-term solution is like almost getting into that habit of like working paycheck to paycheck and being like, oh, I've got to pay the bills, so I've got to get a job. Where sometimes going into long-term education and getting certain qualifications, for example, if you train to be a doctor, you're almost guaranteed a really good income at the end of that. So this could be the choice for you, because this guy does look like a teacher to me. Of what are you going to do? Are you going to go for the impulsive decision, or are you going to go for the well thought out decision, perhaps because you've also got the Knight of Wands there? Yeah, doing it for the money, I've wrote down there. Also, somebody could have a Libra Mars or Mercury placement, specifically Libra Mercury. So either or, Libra or Capricorn Mercury placement, Libra or Capricorn Mars placement. But I was getting Libra Mercury, and this idea of kind of like avoiding confrontation. So I've got a Libra Mercury placement, so I know this feeling quite well. It's like you avoid confrontation. You want to be the peacemaker, you want to be the peacekeeper, but sometimes someone will push your buttons so much that you just say it. It's like you just go in. It's almost like going for the jugular. It's like you suddenly go very, very sharp. It's like, no, this is how it is. And again, it's about those boundaries. So especially with the people that I love, I've also got Libra Venus placement. I can be very I can bend and bend and bend with people in relationships. So it's kind of, you get to that point where you think people are kind of starting to walk all over me, and you start to think, oh no, I've had enough of this. So like the willow tree that bends and bends and bends and bends, eventually it's going to kind of snap back. So it's that energy of kind of like reinforcing the boundary, turning around and saying a very sharp no. This is the line. You've stepped over the line, and now you've got the Ice Queen. So again, just kind of be aware of that, because I'm picking up Libra here, and you've got Queen of Swords here with this guy on the card. So it could be a male Libra energy, like a male Queen of Swords, but I have another way of reading that actually, because you've also got the King of Swords here. So it's kind of like Queen and King of Swords here. And then the weapon in my mind. I need to recognize the weapon in my mind. So this was from Nightmare by Halsey. Again, she's a Libra. So I was getting this. I've got to recognize the weapon in my mind. It feels like it's the King and Queen of Swords talking here. Now, it could be you, it could be somebody around you. But it's kind of like, I've got to recognize my intelligence. I've got to recognize how my intelligence can be used as a tool, but also that it is a weapon, right? Words can be weapons, and I can be really harsh and hurtful with them. This Ace of Swords here is kind of somebody who's being injured by the sword. So yeah, I've got to recognize the weapon in my mind. If you're feeling very, very stuck, or you've got a lack of direction, it could be that you need to utilize any swords energy in your chart, so any air sign energy. And I was getting this kind of emancipation, because the song Joke's on You is from Birds of Prey, which is the emancipation of emancipation of Harley Quinn. God, this is so Aries right now. I was getting this kind of liberation energy. It's like, if I get the right words, if I get the right strategy, then I can have my liberation. I do have to say, Aries, you do get running themes throughout your readings of women's rights, which again, I'm not surprised that your reading starts with this Votes for Women card. So women's rights, kind of like bursting through the glass ceiling energy. I've had readings where it's like Aries energy is stepping into an environment that is not traditionally for that person. So for example, like a woman going into a male dominated workplace, or perhaps somebody from an ethnic minority going into a certain like university course that is perhaps particularly dominated by the whatever, like it's you know, traditionally speaking, especially in the UK, kind of university education has always been a white person thing. You know, there has been people with ethnic minorities going into the education system, and I know that there's been a lot of kind of schemes and steps towards kind of making things a little bit more equal and making better representation at universities, but there are still select courses that are very, very dominated by certain ethnic backgrounds. And so it could be something like that where, you know, you're a female. I had this reading once for Aries. It was like I was reading for like a female black woman, and she was going to do a university course that was dominated by like white men. And it's kind of like, no, you do deserve to be there. This is the course that you're meant to be studying. You are breaking the glass ceiling. But it was like really challenging. So just to kind of note that those themes are coming back up, especially because I keep saying emancipation. It makes me think of like maybe somebody studying kind of like the history of the slave trade and things like that. And of course, you've got these women's rights here too. Okay, that's my notes. Let's get on with your reading. So, you've got the snake card on the underlying. So I do think there is somebody who can't be trusted. And with the sting as well, the sting's really saying to me, like, this is your scorpionic energy, because I was asking about your energy, Aries. So it's almost like this energy of kind of like protecting your dreams at all cost, and having a sting and being prepared to use it. But it's almost like brandishing the sword as a way to keep your boundaries. So when I say sword, it's like, you know, your intelligence or your words, right? It's like the pen is mightier than the sword. So the sting in the tail of the scorpion, maybe you do have Scorpio energy in your chart, or you want to go and look up what Pluto's doing in your chart at the moment. It's like it's almost like a warning sign. It's kind of like, don't come too close, don't cross me. You know, I have a weapon and I'm prepared to use it. Metaphorically speaking, obviously I'm not saying anyone should ever hurt anyone else, but again, it's kind of like to establish those boundaries, to protect your dreams with the unicorn energy. It's like you do have to you know, you have to show people sometimes that you're not to be messed with. So whether that's kind of like somebody who keeps on overstepping your boundaries, so you have to turn around and kind of like speak to them quite harshly and really kind of like lay down those ground rules. It's like you are prepared to do that. So again, it's kind of like, it's almost like a taste of what could happen is the way it's coming through. It's like, I don't want to sting you. I don't want to use harsh words. I don't want to draw my sword, but I will do if you overstep my boundaries. Like if you jeopardize my inner peace kind of thing. With the patience card, though, I do feel like you are being very, very patient at this time. You almost have this feeling of waiting for something to come into fruition, because you had these cards here and I was kind of like associating these three cards together. Just, sorry, I can't pick them up. So this patience card, but you can see that there's all these clouds and then this kind of like half moon energy. And then here, the clouds with the half moon, it's like temporary problems. And then this November card as well, it's kind of like the moon's peak or the sun's peeking out there. So take it as you will, moon or sun. So it's this idea of kind of like, you may not have the full picture at this time. The clouds kind of are indicating clouded judgment or obscured vision. So you are being patient because you know that something is coming into alignment. It's like you will get the full picture. You will see the whole of the moon. But at, you know, maybe in November, maybe this is a warning of, because I'm doing October's reading, so it could be saying in November, don't worry if you go through a phase where you're not quite sure what's going on or what direction to take. It's like, just keep taking, follow the path, follow the direction that you like set out to go on, right? Just keep on moving in that same direction, kind of one foot in front of the other, because any problems will be temporary. So if you're facing challenges, be patient. The clouds will clear, hopefully by November. November could also indicate that you're dealing with somebody who's a, let me just work this out, a November Scorpio or a November Sagittarius. I'm guessing November Scorpio because of the scorpion here, but take that as you will. Yeah, you've got the unicorn card twice, so perhaps unicorn symbology means something very specific to you, but it does talk to me about kind of something that you thought was impossible actually becoming possible. So Yep, good stuff. Rainbow as well, very, very positive card. You've also got the beach and the ring. So again, this could mean something specific to you. It was coming through with movie titles for me. So like the beach is a movie title, the ring is a movie title. So it could be that you just maybe doing movie studies or doing something about like classic movies. I don't know. But yeah, it could also be kind of someone's proposing to you on a beach, which would be lovely. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but we do have this dream energy with the unicorn here. Over here, what do we have? There's definitely something really fun coming through for you. I think with the beach and the ring, I was always kind of picking up this kind of party feeling. And then you have romance, celebration, party. Oh my God, are you freaking serious? I didn't know that was there, guys. Genuinely did not know that card. I hadn't picked up that card. I only picked it up just now to kind of like show you and bring it closer. Romance, celebration, party. Underneath that, unbelievably, it was the unicorn again. Use your intuition to make beneficial changes, it says on that card. And then success. It's kind of like this glittery unicorn. So yeah. Something, I feel like there's something that you thought, getting together with friends as well underneath that. Some really good stuff coming up for you in October. Oh, they're giving me, it's an old song. It's by Gabrielle. It goes, dreams can come true. Da, 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 da. I'm going to look it up. Hold on. Okay, so the lyrics are, babe, step closer. I know that I want you. You know that I want you. I can tell by your eyes that you want me too. It's just a question of time. I knew we'd be together and that you'd be mine. I want you here forever. Do you hear what I'm saying? Got to say how I feel. That thing about the throat chakra closing up, right? Like, I've got to say how I feel. It's like you've been holding it back. And I can't believe you're here. I can't believe you're here, but I know that you're real. And I know what I want, and baby, it's you. I can't deny my feelings because they are true. Dreams can come true. Look at me, babe. I'm with you. You know you've got to have hope. You know you've got to be strong. So yeah, have hope, be strong, good stuff is coming for you. Just be patient. It's like it's on its way. I feel like, you know, if you can't see it in October, in November, it's like you're gonna see it peeking through the clouds. You're gonna see, you know, this dream that you've had on the horizon. It's like you're one step closer to it, right? It's like you're making progress. So be, you know, have your boundaries high, keep going, be patient. Yeah, romance, celebration, party with the fan, and then jug as well. Light-hearted, carefree time. So it seems really fun. You may be this person. This may be somebody that you're having fun with. You've got fair man, dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, grey, or white hair. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic or sexual. This could be a friend, it could be a family member. There could definitely be someone with who's in Leo energy or who has strong Leo placements, because or it could be that this person's being celebrated with the wreath, because the wreath in my deck can indicate, and you had success as well. So it's like the wreath can indicate you know, kind of like almost 6 of wands energy, where it's like people are cheering you on. It's like the wreath is given to someone to kind of like congratulate them or symbolize, like, you know, that they've done something that's worth kind of praising. Sorry, it's coming out really weirdly. But yeah, it could definitely be, God, look at all this fire energy as well around here. Touch, spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. So you could be dealing with somebody with a July birthday. So you've got November, July, and the T spilt in April. July is Cancer. So a Cancer whose birthday is in July, or a Leo whose birthday is in July. Oh, you've got October as well there. So again, with the Libra energy, that's Libra, Scorpio. So October, Libras and Scorpios. Sorry, it's just a lot. But yeah, the July Leo energy was really, really confirmed for me, because you also had Lion, Sun. So it's like the Strength card and the Sun card in the tarot. Time to act, happiness and well-being. And then for this Fire card, all kind of came out at once as I was thinking, is July about Leo energy? And it was almost like it went, yeah, yes it is, confirmation. So there you go, strong emotion, passionate love and hate. Yeah. Okay, you've also got the eagle. Now the eagle can talk about legalities. Underneath that is the beaver. Sorry, there's all these little tiny flies around at the moment. They're driving me a little bit crazy. I can't seem to get rid of them. It's just that time of the year, you know, like, you know, when it changes from kind of like summer to autumn, that's when kind of like the infestations happen. It's like it's either moths or slugs or flies, or like there's always some kind of plague around this time of the year, right? So this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. Um, but yeah, it's like it's just a phase. This patience thing as well, it's like it's just a phase. I know that they'll go away, you know, it's just that time of the year kind of thing. So yeah, the eagle can talk about justice and legalities, like making things fair, making things right. So there could be something to do with like the law or contracts or the justice system, anything like that could be happening for you at this time. But it is a very high vibrational card. It's a positive omen. These three cards came out, so I'm going to say that you have three characters in your reading. I don't know who you are. I'm just going to talk about the three characters and you can decide how this applies to your situation. Again, if you're not seeing this at this time, I'm doing October's reading, so it's predictive. But we've got this woman who seems to be... again, it's like she's turned her back on something that she knows isn't good for her, because it's like this skeleton energy, this hangman energy with this kind of like, I think this is the judgment card. The judgment card talks about kind of rising from the dead or coming out of a bad situation or having a second chance. So you can see it's got this like graveyard energy, but this woman is coming in and kind of like helping this little girl to kind of escape this really bad situation. And then with the hangman card, it's got this feeling of like, I don't know which way to go. I'm kind of surrounded here. And it's like the skeleton's holding out this drink to her. So it's like this woman knows better, right? She's turned her back to it. She doesn't look happy. She's like, I'm not gonna pay attention to what's being offered because I know this is just gonna get me stuck. I know where this road leads. So she's not looking at it. She is looking at these two. So, and she doesn't look very happy. Again, it's kind of like the world card as well there, and then there's the King of Swords again under that. So it's kind of like she's learned her lessons, almost like Goldilocks has tried that cup and she knows what she's going to get if she takes that cup again, kind of thing. Now normally the fourth cup is being held out by the universe. It's almost like a divine offer, but she's not seeing it that way. She's saying, well, I've tried all these other cups and you know none of them worked out for me, so I'm not going to keep drinking wine if it's not getting me anywhere. So again, it doesn't have to be alcohol, but it's something going on where it's that kind of situation. She's looking over here and it's almost like she's fed up with whatever is happening here, because it's looking to me, especially with the cards that are down here, like this energy. So yeah, it's like this energy, whoever this person is, they're coming through as page of wands here and knight of wands here. So it could be your energy, Aries. It's like they're winding this person up and making them angry and then kind of like walking off like they've done nothing wrong. It's kind of like, you know, when you make somebody really angry and then you turn your back on them, and that is like this step, like fuming behind you. Now it does say Queen of Swords and King of Swords, but it's a man on it, so it's either from the Queen of Swords perspective, right, or it's because you've also got this King of Swords here as well. So I'm inclined to say this is King of Swords energy, like could be an Aquarius. It's like the fire energy is kind of like, again, it could be Leo or you, Aries, or another Aries, but it's kind of like this young very impulsive. The page and the knight of wands are very, very impulsive. They're very they can be quite childish. They're very experimental. They will say what they want to say and not really think too much about it. So it's kind of like this person's done something to make this person angry, I want to say. Notice as well, he's got these children at his back. He is actually trying to protect the people behind him. He's kind of like the warrior king. So again, not quite sure what's going on here. This person could also be very, very attractive. Notice how the woman's turning around to kind of like look at him. This could be someone who has a lot of confidence or a big ego. This can be somebody who's kind of like quite sexually active, you know, a little bit of a player energy. It's kind of like they're experimenting sexually. The young, you know, the page and the knight of swords, the page and the knight of wands can be to do with sexual experimentation or dating lots of people and doing things impulsively, and also kind of like overindulging and not kind of putting much thought into their actions. It's kind of like I see it as like they've got learning to do. It can also be sometimes like, you know, you can get like an emperor who will go into page of swords energy, sorry, Page of Wands energy. Why do I keep saying Page of Swords? An Emperor who goes into Page of Wands energy, because it's like the Emperor gets bored. You know, he got to that position by being creative, by going with his instincts, by learning new things, and he doesn't want to kind of like sit down on that throne for too long. He wants to kind of get up and kind of like keep pushing the boundaries. Maybe this is the thing. Maybe this is about pushing your own boundaries and experimenting, but take it as you will. It could be that this person is trying to defend a workplace of some kind, just because you've got this kind of workplace imagery, Knight of Coins into Queen of Coins, which is here as well. And again, it's like the Knight of Swords here looks like he's kind of, you know, he kind of looks like a teacher to me. So I want to say there's some reason why this person's got quite angry, because he's trying to protect some kind of, could be like a workplace community or a school or something. It's like, because she's pregnant there, right? So it could be like they're trying to protect, yeah, it kind of feels like they're trying to protect a school is the way I would read that, right? Or, you know, maybe this is a place that has a lot of apprentices, or it's like a college or a university or something. It's like he's trying to protect the pages, but then there's this one that's kind of like really wound him up and walked off. It's like he's wound this person up and walked off. And it's like people are kind of impressed by it, but this guy's not impressed by whatever this person's done. And he's walking towards this person, but I feel like this person's also kind of like not, because of just her expression, right? She's like looking at him. It's like she sees him coming. Maybe it's that kind of thing. Like she sees him coming a mile away, you know, with his ego, thinking he's all that. And she's like, no, you know, I've met too many people like you. It's like, I can see that you're just a page kind of thing. You know, you can waltz in here like you're the king, but you're just a little page. And then meanwhile, the actual real king is kind of quite angry back there. So, gosh, sorry, I really don't want to show that card. So your actual spread that I've got here starts with votes for women. Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles can talk about juggling things, like trying to make things balanced, trying to make things just, trying to kind of make things equal, especially in terms of like workload, skills, or finances. So again, it could be something to do with kind of like equal pay for women in the workplace, something like this. But there's something going on in the imagery, because it's actually, it says Two of Queens. This is the in-between tarot, so it's kind of like in between two energies. So it says it's the Two of Queens, but it's moving towards the Three of Queens. So the Three of Queens talks about kind of working together as a team. So again, it can talk about like work collaborations or project collaborations if this is like school or college for you. It's kind of like everybody needs to kind of come together and work and share the workload equally, and listen to each other and be supportive, and understand like everybody's coming to the table with like different skills and talents and perspectives. But there's something going on in this card where it's kind of like these two women, maybe they feel like they're doing all the work, or maybe they're kind of like best friends and they're kind of like working together. And then this woman at the back feels like she's left out and really trying to get some attention, because I want to say it's almost like these two are ignoring her, or they're just not paying any attention to her. But she has something really important to say, right? She's actually saying votes for women. She's like, no, this is important too. So I almost feel like these two have their agenda. So again, it's coming through very workplace. It's like they have their agenda. They've, you know, they're on the same page because they've got these like pages. And it's kind of like they're doing all this work, and you know, it's working really well for them. They're working really well together, but it's almost like they've overlooked something, and this person's really trying to get their attention and say, look, no, what I've got to say is really, really important. The thing that I'm bringing to the table is something that you mustn't overlook, right? It's like this has to be part of the project. It has to be part of the workplace, because it's votes for women, right? It's something really, really important. So it doesn't have to be specifically votes for women, but it's kind of like, I don't know if it's you, I don't know if, especially with the throat chakra, I don't know if you feel like you're trying to say something in some kind of workplace or education situation, and you're just not being listened to, or people just aren't really understanding you. Hold on. Okay, I want to wrap up because my son's getting in the bath. So yeah, it's like whatever it is, if this is you, it's like you feel like you're saying something really, really important. And maybe if you're this person, you could be feeling quite angry that people just, because can you see he's got his back to him, and they've got their back to her. So it's like people have their back to you, even though what you're saying is very important. And if it's the King or Queen of Swords, it's like it's very logical, like it's well thought out. So the King and Queen of Swords talk about advice and strategy, and normally it's kind of it's quite watertight because they've put a lot of thought into it. These are people who are quite analytical, quite logical. They kind of look at the big picture, they see all the facts, they look at all the evidence, and then they come up with a conclusion or a plan or, you know, a strategy. So these people are very, very good at the strategy side. And yeah, it's like people just are like winding them up, and like it's like winding them up and watching them go or something, and they kind of like but again, these people are just kind of there for the fun. So again, it could just be, you know, it could be that kind of situation. Have you ever had this where you're working on a project and like you're working in a group, and you're like, this is clearly the way we should go, like, you know, this is so obvious to me, I've really thought this out really, really well. But then you know, the other people on the project will be like besties, and you know, they'll come up with some idea, because it's one's energy as well. Like the one's energy is kind of like, this is a great idea, like, oh, we should do this, oh, wouldn't it be fun, it'd be so fun, we'd have such a great time doing this. And it's like, well, okay, so that seems fun, you want to do that because it's fun and you've had this bright idea, but you've not thought it through, right? There's something not equal, because like look at this card as well, like the different sizes, and then these two, they're not equals. The King of Swords is the greater energy because they're the king, right? They're more experienced, they really, really know what they're talking about. The pages have a lot of learning to do. Like the page and the knight, they're more inexperienced. You know, it's like they're still figuring things out. So it's like being on a project with people who are it's a really good example, and my son has a lot of Aries in his chart. He was doing a school project where they had to kind of like design, like innovate a new piece of equipment or something to take on a camping trip that's going to make the camping trip better. And he came up with a really, really good suggestion, like a really practical, good, you know, marketable idea that he'd thought out, you know, that made a lot of sense. But the other two people on his kind of like little group were these two girls, and they were best, you know, they were best friends, and they were silly, and they were going, oh, we're going to have this like massive makeup case with this fold out mirror. And it was like so impractical, and like they thought it was a great idea because they were like, you know, besties, they were girls, they were really into makeup. And he was sat there like, who's going to take a massive basic wardrobe on a camping trip to do the makeup? Like that's not what you do when you're going camping. So he got really, really frustrated by it. So it has that kind of feeling of like they're not listening to you, because it's almost like they're in Two of Cups energy, right? They think whatever they're doing is a great idea, but they've not thought it through. So you're the one kind of screaming it in the background like, no, pay attention to this, this is really important. Having said that, you could be one of these people who is, you know, you're just there to have, you know, it's not that, I want to say, if this is you, it's not that you're there to just have a good time and kind of like do something just because it feels good, right? It's like, oh, I've had this creative idea, me and my bestie are going to go and do it. Oh, but look at that person telling us, like, trying to tell us how to do it, trying to come in with that intelligent, logical advice that's actually going to be really, really beneficial and helpful if we just stop and listen to it. But no, we want to kind of do it our way. And then, so I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit annoyed for whoever this is, right? So again, it could just be a heads up to you that you're ignoring someone who's actually trying to give you really, really good practical advice that's going to make this really successful, and you're just ignoring them, and you're ignoring something really important. And it's like you're winding them up about it. And it's just, if that's you, Aries, it's going to backfire so badly on you. It really, really is. But anyway, after this Two of Coins, whatever the situation is for you, you get the Queen of Coins. Again, with this kind of Capricorn energy, it doesn't have to be Capricorn. It could be a mother for you. It could be a boss. It could be a business partner. So there could be a situation where somebody's kind of trying to juggle motherhood and work. I feel like this isn't necessarily... I feel like it's going to cause problems. And again, I'm kind of seeing it as this person here. So this person who's kind of going, votes for women, equal rights in the workplace. You know, this one who's got something really important to say, but nobody's listening to them. Because like, look at these figures in the background. It's almost like these ones are kind of like these ones in the background, and she's there working alone. So she's found herself trying to do this project on her own while trying to kind of like nurture this newborn baby. So it doesn't have to be a baby for you, although you have got the baby twice. It could also be, you know, your own project, your own idea, something that you want to nurture and protect, and, you know, to really put your time and effort in. So it's almost like all her attention has gone on this baby. You know, the baby's her priority, her eyes are on the baby, and she's not really paying much attention to kind of this hammering job that she's doing here. So again, it could be you, it could be somebody around you, it could be somebody has a mentality, kind of like an old-fashioned mentality about women in the workplace, or that you need to have a very, very honest and open discussion about you know, where things stand, because, you know, things have to work for both the business and, you know, the human rights of the person have to be respected. So, you know, if there's something where it's like a small business, and lots of people are on maternity leave, it can really have, you know, and you know, I know small business owners and they work so hard, and so it's kind of like if all the staff go off on maternity leave all at once, and they're kind of paying maternity all at once, but they've got, you know, a lot of the, you know, important staff members missing, it's kind of, it can be very, very detrimental to the business, because you know, it can be hard for small businesses to make ends meet. So again, like I say, there could be some kind of discussion happening there, in terms of kind of maternity leave, or you know, maybe it's something to do with work share, you know, like you know, instead of doing a job full time, you kind of like share it with others. So I find this a lot with teachers as well. You know, some of my children have had like 2 teachers instead of one form teacher, because it's like they have Miss A on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they have Miss B on Thursday, Friday, and sometimes it works great, and sometimes it doesn't work so well if they have like a different approach to education, or like, you know, one of them has a bad filing system and they're not really communicating with the other teacher. It can leave the other teacher kind of feeling a bit lost. So it definitely could be something going on like that, where it's kind of, maybe there's a baby in the picture, maybe somebody's a new parent, maybe somebody's going on maternity leave, and it is causing a little bit of friction in the workplace, or they just feel like, you know, if they've gone from full-time to part-time, they feel like they're not being listened to. You know, it's almost, because I had this, I went from full-time to part-time after I had my second child and then my first child, and it just felt like, you know, I'd worked so hard on the days that I was in, and everything would fall apart on the days that I was off, and I was like, well, I just got really frustrated with it. I was like, other people aren't, you know, taking the responsibility that I would have taken. And that's a very Queen of Queens thing to say as well. The thing is, though, again, like I say, with this, can't pick it up, with this, she's looking at the child, and she's kind of not really paying attention to what she's doing here, but she's using something that can be, it's kind of like a workplace injury vibe coming through, because again, I want to be really careful about how I pick this up. You can kind of guess what's on this card without me having to show it, because it's very visceral, but this is somebody who's getting hurt by this sword. So again, it's almost like if somebody works on some kind of production line and they're not paying attention to what they're doing, sometimes injuries can happen, like accidents happen. So it's kind of like somebody who's got hurt by their own tool, right? So again, it could be, if this is words for you, it's like you've hurt yourself with your own words, right? It's like your own weapon, which is kind of like your mind or your voice, has been hurting you. It's been detrimental to you, maybe because you didn't watch your words, or you kind of like didn't pay close attention to your thoughts, something like that. This goes to the Four of Swords, which is a really good sign, actually, because it talks about healing. It talks about needing to rest, needing to lay low for a while, needing to think things through. But it's got this thing about like things coming back to haunt you as well, like with this kind of, it's funny, like with the ring, right? It's kind of got that vibe to it. But it is talking about like your own nightmares. And remember, you had the song Halsey by Halsey. You had the song Nightmare by Halsey. Sorry, I need more sleep. And so, yeah, it's kind of like you could be having nightmares about certain things. Like I had a nightmare about the Grim Reaper, right? Yeah, this could be almost like your subconscious playing tricks on you, or things that you've kind of You know, think your own thoughts, your own quite kind of important thoughts, perhaps, that you've turned your back on in your kind of waking life, really coming back to haunt you in your dreams. It's kind of like there's something trying to get your attention, I want to say, in your subconscious. But as I say, if there is something, it's funny as well, I've had a really sore wrist for the past few weeks. Yeah, maybe 3 weeks. I kind of went to that wedding reception and fell over, and ever since my wrist has been hurting. So it's kind of like, maybe it's not my wrist, because I do get this sometimes. I think I've got some kind of like medical problem, and it turns out to be somebody else's medical problem. But I've been kind of like psychic empathy feeling it in my own physical body. It's the weirdest thing when it happens. But yeah, it could be somebody's kind of like hurt the wrist at work. But yeah, this talks about healing, so that's a good sign that that's following that. Again, with this idea of like apprenticeships or coming up with a plan, figuring things out. So it's Pentacles energy into the page. So like I say, it can be an apprenticeship, like an actual, like it's like a skill that's being worked on, or somebody's coming up with a practical plan. But I want to say there's something, and it really was confirmed to me by the next card. There was something about, you know, the practical life, the day-to-day life, the reality that you live in, perhaps being very, very challenging for you at this time. And perhaps you feel like you've been quite isolated, or people have turned their backs on you. But it's kind of like in your dream space, because these little creepy things, it's actually, you're kind of almost friends with your nightmares. It's kind of like in your dreams, or in the subliminal, or in the psychic space. It's like, this is where your friends are. Perhaps you are, perhaps you have a lot of animals, perhaps you've got a bit of an affinity with animals, but it's kind of like they represent kind of friendship and healing in this reading. But I feel like you are meeting them either when you're resting or when you're having a time out. It could be having time off work, right, and being at home with your own pets and your own animals, or being at home and kind of sitting in your garden and spending time with nature, and that being very beneficial and healing to you. And then you've got this card here, which is High Priestess and Empress, which really did confirm for me this feeling of kind of like the waking world and the dream space, or the conscious and the subliminal, because the High Priestess works in the dream space, right? She works in the sleeping realms or the psychic realms, where the Empress is kind of like very Queen of Queens kind of thing. She's in charge of the waking world. You know, she is a mother, or she is a provider. She's got people who depend on her. She is that Venus oak tree that other people depend on. So yeah, and then with this baby as well, I was getting this feeling, and again, it could just be something that you're watching or you're studying, but it's almost like when you fall asleep, you have people coming to you in the dream space, and they're telling you about this child that will be born. It's almost kind of like, you know, the Mary and Jesus thing, where it's like, you know, the angel comes to Mary, kind of, I don't know if he comes to her in her sleep and says, you're going to have a child, or something like that, or I don't know, because it's something about this child being kind of like in between, right? Okay, there's a card that I find it's a little bit of a problematic card. It's got a bit of a strange image on it. It's Sheila Nagig. So if you know, it says boundary on it as well, no way. So Sheila Nagig is it's like a grotesque. So if you think about kind of gargoyles, right? So grotesques are kind of like statues that they often have over churches or castles and things like this. And so nobody really knows exactly why the Sheila Nagigs exist, but it's a statue of kind of like a gremlin-like woman, or an older woman who, not that all women are gremlins, but she has kind of like a kind of slightly creepy but mischievous appearance, and she's showing her genitals. Often it's over gateways or doorways or portals, because, you know, birth is a portal. So I'm going to show you this card. It's a bit, if you're a bit squeamish, kind of avert your eyes, but it's kind of a disturbing image to look at, because she's kind of, you know, that's what the Sheila gigs are like, but this is kind of like a very, very human looking one, and it does say boundary, so it could definitely be something about birth, right? Or you know, feminine reproductive systems as well. But it's funny that you've got like boundary there, peace, and then boundary again. Interesting. And then beginnings as well underneath that. So yeah, again, kind of the idea of birth as a portal, or you're being birthed into a new beginning. You're having a fresh start. So it could be that you're leaving one job and going to another, or one project to go to another. It could be that you've had to go on maternity leave, or you've you know, you've injured yourself at work, so you're going home to kind of like have a rest period or a respite period, I don't know. Yeah, but it's kind of like this is it's giving you time to heal and to come up with a new plan and maybe envision this new beginning for yourself. Then we get this funny thing about these 3 cards. So it's like these 2 characters. I'm actually seeing it this way because of the clothes that they're wearing. So this guy, he's kind of quite smart looking, right? He's kind of maybe a little bit nerdy looking. He does look a bit like an academic. He's kind of got like that kind of, it looks to me like a blackboard behind him. This looks like maybe a school building, but he doesn't look very happy. Now this is the King of Swords, right? So the same energy as like the guy on this card, if we ignore that it says Queen of Swords, I'm seeing it as the same person in a way. And it looks like somebody who's quite meek and mild, right? It's kind of, again, I don't want to assign gender to it, whether this is you or another person, whether this is a female or a male. It's coming through as somebody who's in swords energy. So again, like it could be somebody with you know, a Mars or Mercury Libra placement, because they can be people with these placements can be very, very agreeable, especially in like workplace situations. They can be kind of a peacekeeper. They can be somebody who, Libra is a sign about balance, and looking at things from lots of different angles. So a lot of the time, if there's somebody with strong Libra placements on the team, they are the person who's kind of listening to everybody, taking everybody's ideas on board, kind of assessing the situation, talking things through, getting everybody's perspective on things, and they really play that kind of middle ground energy that you really need in a team, actually. But again, it's kind of like if somebody's, whoever this person is, and again, it could be you could be Aries Sun with a Libra, Mars or Mercury placement. I'm picking, like I say, I'm picking up Leo, Capricorn and Libra, I want to say, or Aquarius. The thing is, they have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of experience, and they are an intellectual person, whoever this is. You know, they are a person who a lot of their energy goes to their mind, so they could see things in a very, very complex way, whoever this is for you. But again, they've got a slightly kind of like frumpy, not frumpy, they look very, very smart, but maybe like a slightly dowdy look to them, right? They look a bit beaten down, like they look a bit tired. Maybe this is a teacher. And then you have this person here who's kind of like, he's a bit of a Jack the Lad, right? He's in the bar, he's drinking, he's enjoying himself, he's doing what feels good because he's the King of Wands. And maybe, you know, maybe he's a bit more charismatic, maybe he's got a bit more energy, maybe he's a bit attractive, because this person seems tired, right? Where the King of Wands normally has a lot of energy. So again, I don't know if this is like some kind of choice for you. It's like, maybe this is like a look to love interest coming towards you. It's like this person's gonna catch your eye more, right? This person's gonna be, they're gonna be funny, they're gonna be loud, they're gonna be the center of attention. But I want to say it could be that the funny thing about this card is, I want to say all is not as it seems. So I want to say this guy, because the Knight of Wands can have quite a big ego. Now, I want to say, to be fair to the Knight of Wands, you can have Knight of Wands in a good way, right? There's a time and a place to be in Knight of Wands energy. For example, if you're about to go on vacation with a lover, it's like being in Knight of Wands energy is perfect. But it can also talk about people who are players or who are, you know, experimenting kind of. So they're not always, they can break hearts, right? They can break hearts, they can be in their ego, they can be you know, like a peacock energy, like very, very showy, but then they don't turn up in a practical sense, like there for a good time kind of thing, like great friends, maybe you wouldn't want to marry them. But it seems like, again, with them having a big ego, I think they're looking at this other person and thinking, they're seeing it like this, right? They're seeing themselves as being, you know, cock of the walk. Is that a phrase? I don't really know that phrase, so I don't know where that came from. Maybe that's something that someone says. It's like they think they're all it, right? They think they're the hottest thing, right? They think they're really attractive, and maybe they're a bit of a bully, and maybe they're like laughing at this person, maybe they're ridiculing them, maybe they're putting them down, maybe they're trying to make this person feel very, very small. I want to say the reason why they're doing this is actually, in reality, the energy goes like this, because the universal energy, the tarot, recognizes the experience and the authority of the King of Swords as a strategist. This person is a king. This person's just a knight, right? So energetically speaking, this person wins the fight. So it does have, this card always looks to me like a David and Goliath situation as it is. So it's almost like, you know, if Goliath is picking on David, he's kind of like, it's almost like a Superman thing. Oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. My son took the stool that I sit on, because he gets in the bath and he kind of like puts his phone on the stool. I was like, yeah, you take it again. Libra placements. I'm like, your happiness means everything to me. I'll kneel on the floor with my old knees. So yeah, a bit uncomfortable, but I was like, I don't want you to drop your phone in the bath, just take it. So yeah, it's almost like this Superman energy, because these are both the same energy, right? The King or Queen of Swords, Queen and King of Swords. So it's almost like, you know, this person, it's almost this person in a bar picks a fight with Superman, but it's, you know, he picks a fight with Clark Kent, and then Clark Kent kind of like whips off his clothes and he's kind of like hench. It's kind of like, what did you say to me? It's kind of giving that kind of energy, you know, like Goliath didn't know that David was going to win that fight, and yet that's kind of how it worked out. You know, and I want to say this person just needs to play to their strengths, right? Yeah, it really is. It's kind of like he's in the bar. This guy walks in and is kind of, this teacher walks in his suit, kind of like really tired at the end of the day. He's kind of like, we're like, you're not gonna get a date, kind of like dressed like that, like making fun. I don't know what he says. Kind of like turns around and walks off, and the guy behind him is like, what did you say to me? Like, I don't know, just watch your back, Aries. No, I don't know who you are in this reading, but watch your back, and like, don't, I think it's an important message here about valuing everybody's talents, because especially, you know, if someone's trying to say something, it could actually be that they're saying something really important, and if you're ignoring them and you turn your back on them, it could be a big mistake, basically. And again, it doesn't mean that's necessarily you. Flip it and reverse it if needs be. I'm only saying it could be you because this would be the Aries energy in this reading, but it doesn't have to be you, right? You know, all these placements could be different aspects of your own chart. So yeah, what's that? 8 of Wands. Yeah, this is about communication and action. This person's kind of like, you know, it feels like very impulsive. Oh, and then the Devil. Yeah. And then that 4 of Swords there again, like healing. Yeah, having boundaries against this, because this person is absolutely just, it's kind of like they're out for the milk and honey, right? They're out for the cream. They're not going to stick around, so have your boundaries up. Empress there underneath that. Kind of like, yeah, it feels like have your boundaries up. And look at that, the 4 of Swords and the Empress together. Literally what you've got here, 4 of Swords in the Empress, 4 of Swords in the Empress, almost side to side twice. Let's just have a look at what's under here. Yeah, Judgment card there. Death and Judgment. Yeah. Oh, it does. It really, oh gosh, yeah. It really has the feeling. Let me just see what this is. Knight of Coins, Queen of Swords, Knight of Coins. This feels like the tortoise that wins the race to me. King or Queen of Swords with the Knight of Coins and the Queen of Coins. This is somebody who's all swords and coins, which is air and earth. This is somebody who thinks things through and they show up in a practical sense. This is somebody who, this is a very, very conscientious person, I want to say. And then the 4 of Cups into the 5 of Cups. See, there's that 4 of Cups there. It's like the 4 of Cups, right? Having strong boundaries, rejecting something, rejecting the devil, like who's just there to have a good time. It's like both of these people on both sides. It's like this person's in between them, right? There's something about this person's energy and this person's energy, because they're kind of looking towards each other, you know, because you have beautiful stranger as well, right? So it's almost like this troublemaker is almost bringing these two together, because they've both got this same energy of kind of like almost like death and rebirth, right? This is the Judgment card here. You know, I'm not gonna engage with this person anymore because I know that they're bad for me. And then this person over here as well with like It's like the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups leads to this like death and rebirth energy on both sides, is the way I'm seeing it. It's kind of like, it's almost like turning a corner and meeting someone. It's like both of these people are following this person and they both turn the corner and then like they have this death and rebirth. Seven of Swords and Nine of Wands. Huh. Oh, look at that as well. You know that thing about like everything happens for a reason? Like it's like not all heroes wear capes or something. It's, and like right place at the right time. You know all those like idioms. I just feel like this trouble causes somehow leads these two together. I was getting something in my other readings about, especially with this card, and it was like somebody was trapped, right? It's like somebody was trapped inside an egg, or somebody was trapped inside a bubble and they couldn't get out. So it's kind of like the Empress, because under here, right? Where was it? Like it's like the devil has got, it's like the devil has got the Empress trapped under this cloche. So the devil, the devil, right, this person who's like the devil in disguise, wolf in sheep's clothing, has got the Empress trapped in this bubble. Maybe she's made peace with the situation, right? Maybe she's like, she's in that bubble and she's just kind of like, you know, it feels like the what was going on in the other readings in the last set. It's kind of like she's had growth. It's like in that bubble, she's had personal growth and she's become the Empress despite the devil trying to keep her trapped. Okay, so it's kind of like almost like, so then the universe almost conspires to put like these two in the same place at the same time, and like to have him think that he can wind this person up and get away with it, and then he's actually, you know, it's like he's also in disguise, right? He's like Superman disguised as Clark Kent, and so he's like following the devil, right? It's like following the devil, and then the devil, it's like You, it's reminding me of like You, the TV show. It's like he follows him back to where he's got this Empress trapped. So I want to say hopefully nobody's got anyone literally trapped. Oh, sorry, I don't want to show that. So nobody's got anyone like actually literally trapped, but metaphorically, whoever the Empress is and whoever's been, it's like she's stuck under that glass ceiling, right? See what I mean with that? It's like she's stuck under that glass ceiling and like maybe feeling like very Cinderella, right? She's feeling very, very stuck. But like you see this here, it's like this is like the divine helping her out. All right, and it's like the impossible being made possible. This is a really cool reading. I've really actually enjoyed this. Dreams can come true. I am gonna randomize a song for you to close out this reading. Currently a song called Demons is playing. Let me just see who it's by. Let's go around. Picani, Ledo, and Melon, if that's anything to anyone. Oh, it's I think it's an Imagine Dragons song. It's that when the days are cold and the nights still and the cards all fold and the saints we something are made of gold. It'll be called Demons, I think, but it's a cover. Let me just screenshot it. I'll put it in your description box. You can go and have a listen. Advice, please. Advice for whoever needs it in this reading. Running, Lose It All, Sophia Karlberg. Couldn't load the lyrics for this song. Again, this might be another cover. So maybe we're dealing with somebody who does covers of other people's songs. I don't know. She does some of her own songs and she does some covers, so I'm never quite sure. Oh, it says by Naughty Boy, I think. Naughty Boy featuring Beyonce, Arrow, and Benj. I'm going to read the lyrics for the Theo Carbo version. I don't know if it's the same song or not. These four lonely walls have changed the way I feel. Oh my god, the four lonely walls. It does feel like she's trapped, like the Empress is trapped. These four lonely walls have changed the way I feel. I'm standing still and nothing else matters now. You're not here. So where are you? I've been calling you. I've been missing you. Where else can I go? Where else can I go? Chasing you. Memories turn to dust. Please don't bury us. I got you. Running. Ain't running from myself no more. Together we'll win it all. Ain't running from myself ain't running from myself no more. I'm ready to face it all. If I lose myself, I lose it all. I've outrun the fears that chased. They're standing still. I'm running still. And every voice cried inside my head forever drives. I've killed the lights. I don't understand that song. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, but hopefully it'll mean something to you. Maybe you just need to go running again. Maybe you used to go running all the time and you've kind of not been doing it recently, but it makes you feel really good. It gets the endorphins going. So maybe you just need to go out for a run. I don't know. I do hope this was helpful to you. Please take care of yourselves. It does look like the universe is coming in to give somebody a fresh start who's been very, very stuck. So, you know, just have patience, keep your boundaries up. Just watch out for whoever this character is, and I will see you again soon. Take care, Aries. Bye-bye.